I know it may look like that. Check, check.
Why do you like doing this? I have no idea.
Well, it's not. What do you mean? Why would I not? Like, what's not to like about this? I get to dress up. I don't have to go see anybody. I get to talk about what I like. Making sure I had to buy Brad a couple of new shirts because I knew your time was coming. Okay. When do you want to start? Cheers. Have we ever cheers with the Diet Coke and coffee before? Hello, everyone, and welcome to Make It Happen with Megan and Morgan. Except today we have a special guest, my lovely husband.
Thank you.
So, what brings you here today, Mr. Knopf?
Forcing me to come down.
No, Brad is a very big part of Studio M. He is definitely behind the scenes as much as he would like. That's how he would prefer it. Yeah. But this man loves my salon almost as much as I do. He knows all the ins and the outs and everything about salon life. You probably know more about the salon world in the last, since we've been together, 10 years, than you care to know.
I really have not gotten into
Right, correct.
your situations in the detail that we have been since the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
It's been more of a hands-off. You've been dealing with it, and I've been doing what you've been telling me to do.
Which is, hey, the sink is broken, or he's not much of a gift giver, but that's okay. He shows his love. He builds me things. So anyways, there is a reason why I wanted you to come on today, because let's just be honest, be very transparent. You pretty much saved the salon in the last, about the beginning of the year. And I know I've heard this over and over again. Owners have to know their numbers, and I didn't. I didn't know my numbers. And I knew that we were in trouble when my payroll team...
You want me to tell you how we got here?
Yeah.
Is that what you want? Okay.
Yeah.
So for the last, I'll say 5 to 7 years, I've been involved with the salon, but it's been pretty much hands-off. It's been, hey, Brad, we need to fix something. Hey, Brad, we need to build something. Hey, Brad,
I want to put this in.
I want to move this over here. Then 3 days later, move it over there.
Yeah.
So that's been my role, right? And I've got a full-time job, and that keeps me busy as I'll get out of it. I think it happened back in, our involvement increased back in December of last year when we had some issues with our finances. Yeah, for the audience, I mean, that's the whole month of December. I think that you and I spent almost every day at the hospital.
Yes.
For January.
Well, no, your mother went in on Christmas Eve, but she didn't leave until January 18th is when she passed.
You know.
So that from January...
Right during that time is when you started raising alarms with respect to the finances and the bills and letting me know that you may have a problem or an issue, which, you know, for right or wrong, I was not a part of the finances for the salon. And so we took some time and I went through our situation, and it was not good. You had probably about 6 more weeks left of cash flow within the business before things started to crumble. So we had to do something, and that's kind of where I got involved. You and I had some serious discussions.
And that's when I think I said, I know exactly what we need. And I explained to him that about 3 years ago, we brought in a system that we just didn't like it. I don't know. It was too complicated. As stylists, we don't want to take any extra steps. We don't like change, especially if it's taking one extra step. But ever since then, I kept hearing about the Salon Scale, and I really looked into it, and I wanted to show it to you. I didn't want to mention to the girls because I was like, oh my gosh, all they're going to think about is our last product, and that just didn't go well. And I do not have the best way, which I'm working on how to communicate with the girls in that respect when it comes to money. I'm kind of funny about that. So anyways, I said, Brad, you need to listen to this. And you're blown away.
Well, it was more than just
Yeah.
Salon Scale was one part
Yes.
of a solution. It was a big part, but understanding the finances, understanding your situation and your cash flows was the first step. And then to understand your income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow was the next part of it. You know, we had to find out where you were having issues, where you were bleeding, what your problems were. So the first thing that we did is we stopped all non-essential expenses for the salon because we had to survive. We had to
Right.
flow.
And we had just brought in a whole new stack bar, had it stocked with, just tons of stuff. And I just thought, things are going well. And, well, no, they really weren't going well, but I thought the salon was going well because of those changes.
Yeah, and shame on me for allowing you guys to go without taking a good hard look at what was going on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my fault. So.
Wait, what?
So anyways, what we did is
Wait, did you just say something that was your fault?
it was more of,
Are you just taking the blame?
a little bit.
It's just so I don't look as bad.
It's more of a husbandly thing to do, so I
Okay.
hold it down.
Anyways. So
Anyways.
it was your fault that you weren't paying attention to your finances. So, no. Okay.
So the first gut reaction is, holy shit, you guys are bleeding money. You've got to raise your prices. Well, when you think about that, and you run through all the financials that are associated with a salon, you can't get yourself out of these situations by raising prices. Because raising prices, you only get a small portion of that price increase. And our issue was much greater than a small issue. It needed to be addressed.
Correct.
Upfront and direct. And the reason why you guys got...
Well, we hadn't raised prices.
So there was a whole deep dive diagnosis of the salon, the financials, the rebuilding of all your income statements and all your cash flows that took place until we could understand where you guys were having the issues in terms of your...
Right. If I'm just going to stop right there. I was scared to death to tell the girls, and I know the way Brad talks with me, it makes sense. And I can and do ask some of the silliest questions where I know but he understands me and he gets me and he loves me for that. So he could see this is going to change, and it only made sense. It was like one of those, why didn't we think of this? And so we had a mandatory salon meeting, and it was after hours. It was like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. It was in the winter. I just know it was really dark. And Brad had a slideshow and he explained everything. How much, in the salon industry as a whole, I know everything's crazy expensive, but the foils, the gloves, in
the last 4 years, the product cost has gone up 125%. So a bottle of shampoo that you were paying $10 for back in 2019 was costing you around $22, $23.
Wow. Yeah. And we weren't doing anything on our end to help pay those extra costs. And for me as the owner, I will admit this is my fault and I will claim it all day long. I didn't know my numbers. My mom, who I trust more than anything in this world, and my husband, who I trust, were taking over my finances. Why did I need to know? Well, at the time, Brad wasn't in it. But I would just look at the schedule. I would see our numbers. I'm like, wow, we're doing really good. Because, we're a busy salon. And as long as I could put money in, use my debit card, I thought things were good. And then when Mom would say, hey, Megan, let's watch our purchases, this week, payroll's pretty big, because Mom was so scared to call me because I would just get mad at her. And
I think the thing that we had to realize, and I had to do this with your mom as well, is that people have certain things that they're strong in.
Right.
You are not strong, nor will you ever will be strong on the financial side.
Right.
You're strong in the other areas in terms of marketing, in terms of communication, in terms of dealing with people and customers and style. Those are your strengths.
Yeah. Thank you.
In terms of...
And that's what I want. I don't want the financial.
Yeah, but in terms of the financial stuff, that's not your strength, and you have to recognize that. And we had to have a come to Jesus meeting to say, you're out of the financial piece of it. You're out of the impact in terms of things that are making financial decisions for the salon. we'll advise you and let you know, but we've got to take control of this thing in order to make it solvent. Because you have 20 people responsible for their paychecks.
Yeah.
And that's,
I know. It's a lot.
and I know that weighs on you, and I know that's something you think about every single day. It's a heavy burden. And if you don't know the financials behind it.
Actually, I'm kind of glad I did.
You need to.
You do.
And I know
You do.
that's why you were worried, is because you didn't know the financial status as to what was going on. So that's.
And then when mom calls and says that, then I'm just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, part of that flip out is because you didn't understand it.
Right. Yeah.
So anyways, what happened was all the expenses, all the fixed costs, all the variable costs, all the taxes, we recognized that we need to do a couple of things. One of the things that we did, not the only thing, but one of the things that we did is we looked at the Salon Scale that you mentioned, you brought up to us. And you had tried it in the past with another vendor, and it was just too complicated and costly. And you didn't necessarily get the buy-in from the girls because...
It was the way that I addressed it.
Yeah, I think it was, they did not realize what it was trying to solve, what problem, how big is
Right.
more of a burden. So when the issue was brought up again with Salon Scale, we addressed it differently with the girls.
Yeah.
And...
You did.
Yeah, I did. And what Salon Scale does is it helps you control...
Don't tell them too much.
What's that?
Don't tell them too much.
We looked at Salon Scale as one step. The first thing we looked at was raising prices, right? I mean, that's what we said earlier.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that-
and that
is
is
it-
what we needed to be done. But you're like, you know what? You can, but it's not helping.
Going to help our situation.
Right. Because when the girls do raise prices, I mean, if they raise them $5, let's just say the girls get $2.50. We get the other $2.50, but we don't, because then we have to take the taxes and all that stuff out of that. And so then we're actually negative,
Yeah, we don't get...
right?
That's exactly right. I mean, depending on your commission skills for the girls, we top out at 55%. You're only going to get, if you raise your prices $10, at best, we're only going to get 30 cents, 35 cents on that.
True.
Which is either $3.50 on
But
that.
so regardless, the answer was not raising our prices. I mean, even if we raised them significantly, it still
the amount,
was not
the
going-
amount of price increases that we would have to do would be huge compared to what we get accomplished with
Yeah.
just Salon Scale. So that's what we did. We put it in. And, well, let me step back. So we had this, I think this meeting with the girls was important because we were upfront and honest with them with respect to the salon. I mean, we don't have any secrets with it in terms of what we
correct. Yeah.
do with
We've
it.
always been.
The girls in the salon are really, part of our family. And one of the things that you and I take very seriously is ensuring that they have a place to work, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And ensuring that the salon is up to our standards, their standards, and their client standards. And we take that very seriously, and we take this responsibility of providing them.
And we really failed them.
We did. I mean, we
This
had
past-
we had a lot of excuses,
Right. We did.
but at the end of the day, there's no excuses.
And then I was so tired for saying sorry about another tragedy in our life, It was just getting to the point where, oh my God, are you kidding me? Anything we tried to do was just, nope. But anyways, that's not why we're here.
So, to step back, we recognized the issue of the finances. We did a whole bunch of investigations and rebuilding of the financial situation to see what the problem was. Then we decided, we've got some solutions that we need to put in play. Let's get it in front of the girls because we have to get their buy-in from it. We've got to be upfront with them as to where we're at. And that's when you scheduled the meeting for first part of February, where we came in and shared with the girls exactly where we were at. And we went through a whole bunch of different things, right? We went through what was happening with the economy, what was happening with inflation.
Tariffs weren't even out yet.
No, the tariffs weren't even out yet. There was an inkling of it, but they were not.
Oh, see, I did. Okay.
They weren't out on they weren't fully effective yet. So we shared with them where they have been historically in terms of their price increases. And in a lot of cases over the last 4 years, we had not raised our prices at all. And in some cases, we reduced prices at a time when inflation was going up 30, 40% over the last several years. Because of that, our expenses that we have in terms of fixed expenses for the salon went up as well. So we showed them exactly what was happening with our rent, exactly what was happening with our cost of goods, exactly what was happening with our insurance, and all the things that we have.
And that I wasn't getting paid. I mean, that was important for me to let them know. I wasn't at the salon. I had taken a leave of absence, but I wanted, to let them know too. I'm not getting paid. So I have to throw that out
Right.
there.
And why are you doing something if you're not getting paid?
Well, exactly. Well, if we had the money, I would.
Well, that's right. That's why you have to fix it.
Well, right.
You're not
Exactly.
doing this for free, and
right.
neither am I. But we're also not doing this to line our pockets, being big fat cats either.
Yeah.
I mean, we enjoy it. We enjoy this salon, and if we can make a great living,
Yeah. That's the way.
for us,
yeah.
great. And so we had this meeting. We addressed all the issues that are impacting the salon. We addressed the price increases and what effect that would have on the salon. But we shared with them price increases alone are not going to change the situation with respect to where we're at financially, and something needed to change fairly quickly. And that's when we introduced Salon Scale.
Yeah.
And it went off extremely smooth. I mean, maybe a week's worth of bumpiness.
Let's just go back a week. Before this happened, Brad and I are home. He says, we don't need Salon Scale. He goes, I'll just come up with something. Remember that? And I said, babe, listen, please, if we're going to do it, let's just, I don't know. He had the same concept, but, he thought all 20 girls were going to be able to just, be able to figure it out, like with something he would come up with. So anyways, I said, because we need to start this like next week. And I'm like, I just listened to a podcast about it. We can be up and running by tomorrow if we want to. And that's exactly what happened. The team was great. It's a small team, one-on-one.
Yeah. I mean, you introduced it and you kind of...
Because I think you were so shocked. Within a week, we were starting to save money. I mean, that's how fast it happened because they worked with us. Brad now knows what highlights are, lowlights. Touch up. Oh my gosh, he's like trying to talk to me about stuff, but he really did. But he put it on. It's the first time that I could actually talk to him about the salon, and he was like 100% engaged. He is now my partner, and he now talks about our salon, and I love it. Anyways, that was a squirrel moment, but so. You loved it. We got it going. We talked to the girls. We gave them a trial period.
Well, the reason I loved it was simple.
Yeah.
It's very cost effective as well.
And you think it's kind of fun. Well, you like to see the numbers.
I like to see, you got to see where costs are going.
Yeah.
Who's spending what, who's wasting what. It's a very important piece of running the business.
It's huge.
It was a game changer for us. Along with the other things that you did. And you did a lot of other things as well.
We added our head spa.
You added your head, at that time, you added your head spa?
On March, whatever that first part of March was, whatever that first Monday was, after our 6-month tragedy, crazy life, we not only jumped into one new thing, we jumped into 2 big, huge things. So we implemented Salon Scale the same exact day that we started taking clients for our head spa. And it has changed the salon. It really has. One partnership, it's changed because now he can finally listen to me and I don't feel so alone because that's all I want to talk about. And why are you laughing at me? Because I'm off track?
No, it's just...
We already talked about that. That's all we need to know.
I'm feeling for all the others that have to live with a stylist or owner of all the crazy things that they've got to put up with, and the ideas that they've got to put up with. And they have to help bring to reality for the salon owner or people with your creative ideas.
So then you know what I do?
Corral you in.
You know what else I do? I go to my little podcast list and I scroll and I find the best podcast and it's explaining me to a T. If you have a dream, go for it. Don't let anyone stand in your way. Yeah. So you're talking to, I guess, depending on how many subscribers, but like every single stylist, we all have the same type of blood.
Behind every dreamer, there's a person behind the scenes doing all the work. Yes.
I know, that's why we're celebrating you today.
Okay, good.
And because Morgan's still sick, but no. I wanted you to come on because I need people to actually hear you talk and how gentle you are with me. And that's when you get the business Brad tone, like you just got, that is when I know he's serious. And that's when he got that tone when I came home from, I forget where I was. And we need to talk. And I was like, we got the business Brad.
Yeah.
And that's when you were like, you spent the weekend going through our finances and stuff. If it wasn't for you, I'm not kidding. Well, you know it. If it wasn't for you, 20 girls wouldn't have a place right now because I was just too busy worrying about how many clients we were getting in and if we were busy. And I could have had our salon packed, which, a day's
It
is.
You need to do an episode for your salon owners that are out there on financials.
And have you on.
Well, yes. And just go through the basics of how to run a business, the difference between...
I think you should start consulting that or whatever. Is that what that's called?
I think I've got 10 hours free on the weekends.
Well, let's just see. If anybody out there would love to sit down and have Brad go through your financials, oh my gosh, it saved our life. It did. And this isn't a sales pitch. This was just us talking.
You had it.
Well, yeah.
The reason why, when we looked at your financials, the reason why we didn't just say, screw this, throw in the towel, is because you have a large clientele. You've got great stylists. You have great revenue. And when you have all those things going for you, all you need to do is to control the expenditures and the margins that you have within your business.
Was one simple change. And it was a change that made so much sense. And it was like, no one, the stylists, they were a little nervous at first, but nothing like when we raised prices, they were just like, because they understood.
Well, I think they got it. I think they understood.
Well, and the clients understand too.
Yeah.
We've not lost anyone. It just makes sense.
Yeah, it's been good.
The way the lady that invented it, she was waiting in line at a frozen yogurt place while she was redoing her salon, waiting for the paint. And I don't know, I just picture me sitting there just thinking about all the money and whatever. And then she sits there and watch her sons, them weigh the scale for his yogurt and then her husband's, because it was bigger. And she was just like, wait a minute. So every customer only pays for what they use.
Right.
And why? Because that customer wants to make it the way he wants it, not the way his mom wants it. Just like nowadays, there's so many different products out there. Everything should be customizable, and why should Mary over here that has a short bob pay for Susie that has extensions and, whatever. So
Why should the price be the same?
Why should it be the same? Right. It shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
So that just gives you kind of an idea, and it instantly saved us.
It helped. There's other things.
Oh, right. I know. He's so scared that I'm gonna just run off with it. No,
There's a
but
lot of other things that you
we
can
are
do.
healthy. Things are going well.
Totally.
I haven't been this happy as a salon owner, and the confidence, I guess, in my team in a really long time. And I think it's just that safe knowing that if there is a bad week,
Well, that's the important thing, right?
that no matter,
Well, the important thing is that you're not guessing where you're going to be. You know where you're going to be
right.
1 week, 1 month, 6 months out. So we have a complete understanding of what we need to do to be successful 1 month out, 6 months out, and so on and so forth. There's no guessing games associated with it.
Yeah.
So there's confidence in the numbers and the numbers that we're forecasting for the salon to ensure we're stable, that we have control, not something different.
Right.
Not the fact that we're going to get a bill for, $5,000 from Cosmoprof in the month and we're like, holy shit, what's going on with this?
Right.
This is crazy. We can't afford this stuff. Now you understand your finances. You understand what, if this happens, you understand the cause and the effect.
And, our rep, she only comes in and checks in on us, I don't know, once a month or whatever. That month, she came in and she said to Jody, she goes, is everything okay? And Jody's, yeah, why? And she says, your inventory has gone, way down. And Jody was like, let me show you something. And she explained it. And she was showing her I think didn't you guys decide to get rid of some color that was just sitting there? Yeah. I really honestly, I'm like, babe, this is your thing. So anyways, the rep was just in awe. She came back the next month, brought her, I don't know if it was her peer or whatever, but brought somebody else with her to show her our back bar and salon scale and how it works. So
yeah,
I really hope that if there are salon owners listening, or it even works for suite rentals. But if you're in the same situation that we were in, which I didn't even know we were in, I would for sure look into it, because this is what I thought. They're either gonna throw their hands up and be like, Megan, no, we've tried this, I don't want to do this, or they were going to be on board. And I knew that they would, but if they weren't, then I had nothing to lose, because I had no idea.
Well, the important thing when owning a salon, if you do not know the financials, bring somebody in that knows the financials, can guide you and give you that.
But you still need to understand them.
You still need to understand them and have an appetite for it, or listen very closely to, we have a very good partnership in terms of the salon.
Right.
Your understanding of the financials doesn't need to be as in depth if you have a brand sitting on the other side.
But at least now I know when you talk, I understand. Because this is what I would do. I would listen to a podcast and, depending on what they're talking about, they'll throw numbers out, or different chairs. So I can kind of compare myself to certain people and where they're from. So I know our numbers as far as our year end, or what you tell me, right?
You know.
I know that. And so then why do I need to know anything else? So they would talk about how they would have quarterly parties, and I would have this big retreat, and how they would do all this stuff for their girls. And I'm like, I want to do that. And that's the one thing you say, you have got to stop, spending your money on the girls. They don't care, which, yes, I know you guys do. That's just Brad. But that's why I thought that I could take 4 girls to California to get trained, because why not? We have all this money. It's going to make us all this money. And here I am planning a big retreat coming in January, and we were 6 weeks from closing our door. I feel like an idiot. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I'm telling my story, is because, on the outside, well, I'm just saying that I can't be the only salon owner out there that is in this situation.
Yeah, I don't think that you're right. It's probably not something that is a strength of most salon owners.
Right.
And it needs to be, or they need to partner with somebody that it is a strength for them.
Yeah, I agree.
Top line revenue does not equal success. it can be a part of success, but it's not. You could bring in $1 million a year
Right,
in
right.
revenue and go bankrupt.
And then once the tariff thing came, I mean,
Tariffs are a big issue. Inflation's a big issue. The other thing that's a big issue, though, too.
but isn't that going to save us, right? That we've got now something in
Oh,
place?
well, yes, absolutely.
Because I've got a lot of salon owners, stylists that like on Facebook groups and stuff, everyone is what's going to happen. There's so many salons that are closing down. Suites are shutting down. Well, one, they realize the overhead is just too much for a single person to do. And commission salons are saying, or they're saying that it's coming back, you know. And then a lot of salons can't find
Part of the
girls.
reason it's coming back is because they're recognizing that running this business is a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
And
Because I'm sure they're like me. If you make $1,000 a week and rents $500 a month, you know, whatever, I just would subtract and be like, oh, then I made $500. And then be like, okay, well, what about product? Well, okay, maybe $100. So I made $400, you know, so like that, it's girl math. It's Megan's math. It's what I want. And what I would do is like, how many fills? I could get 2 clients. Okay, I'll buy it. It's not too late though. I mean, I've got the second half of my life to do good.
you'll be fine.
I know because I have you,
Yeah, it helps.
but
It does help.
okay, I promise I want to interrupt. Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, I think you guys need to go through the financials. I think you need to go through price increases at some point in terms of what you're doing here in this, you know, how to handle that, how to work with your girls on your price
Who needs
increases.
to?
You do. I think there'll be good stories for people to hear.
Oh, on the podcast.
Yeah. Or how to.
But you
treat your
understand
son.
that will be bringing you in.
That's fine.
Morgan and I, that would be funny. That would be like the good bloopers. Her and I talk about financial. That would be funny. I think this is what I think we should do. You give us a question, okay, in terms of beauty, salon world, okay? And Morgan and I have 5 minutes to come up what we think this means or whatever. And then the next segment, you come on and you actually tell us what it is. That would be fun. Well, I'm saying is because
Okay.
well, we can talk about it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, that is what people want to know. However, we'll just have to keep bringing you back on.
And you need to talk, before I forget, the other thing you need to talk about is the insurance and what you guys are doing with insurance as well.
What?
Affleck.
Oh,
That's all part of a package that you're doing and what you're doing for the salon and the health of the salon and the stability. of
we
the salon.
picked up the girls' dental vision.
Well, you did more than that.
Oh.
You've done more than that. And not that you need to go into it now, but because of the size of the salon and what you bring in, the amount of people that you have with the salon, it allows you to get better rates for other insurance programs or policies that
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't
I see.
necessarily get.
Yeah.
And that's something that's typically not obtainable by a stylist working in a salon.
See, that's why I'm like, we have all this. Oh, and I don't want anybody out there to think, oh my gosh, Studio M, you know, about went under. I mean, we were in bad shape. However, I feel like we should be proud that we have no credit cards. We owe nothing.
Oh,
Like,
no.
you know, what do they say? Debt free, or other than our lease.
No, you have no debt.
Yes. And I think that's huge because I will listen to other podcasts and they're saying that salon owners take out all this money. And so when Brad tells me no, I'm just like, he doesn't know, you know, but I didn't get really far without you.
You have all the components of being very successful in the salon industry. You just needed to put them together and execute them and have control of what you were doing.
Right.
You can't run it, you know, on the back of a napkin. So
That's how it started.